Over the past decade or so, Korean barbecue has become wildly popular in the United States. While it might feel like a fad that came out of nowhere, Korean barbecue actually has a long, weird history in the US. And that's where we come in. Today, we're taking a look at how Korean barbecue became a fad in the United States. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other international cuisines you would like to hear about. Okay, let's get into the BTS of BBQ. Korean barbecue is a communal dining experience where thinly sliced, pre-seasoned pieces of meat, like beef, chicken, or pork, are cooked on a charcoal grill, often built right into the table, and then wrapped in lettuce with rice and other goodies to be eaten. The community aspect is so important, some Los Angeles Korean barbecue places won't even seat solo diners. Traditionally, diners get to cook the meal for themselves. These days, however, many Korean barbecue places provide a professional chef to do the actual cooking part for you. We're not lawyers, but we imagine that might have something to do with the price of liability insurance for a business that encourages the general public to directly interact with fire. The most popular Korean barbecue meat is Bulgogi, which means fire meat, which sounds totally awesome. Fire meat is thinly sliced tenderloin, top sirloin, or ribeye that's been tenderized with pear juice, or something like it. It's then marinated in a sauce made from stuff like sesame oil, garlic, brown sugar, black pepper, ginger, and soy sauce, and served with a bowl of spicy soup. But if you're bored of bulgogi, then there are plenty of other choices. Jumulog, or short steak, kalpisel, or thinly cut rib meat, and chedolbagi, which is thinly cut brisket. There are also beef short ribs, which you can get by ordering kalbi and short steaks, each prepared in their own unique marinades. If beef isn't your thing, there's always puldok, or fire chicken, which sounds like a well-dressed chicken at the disco. And if you're not into meat at all, there's usually a vegetarian alternative like mushrooms or potatoes, or a seafood alternative like spicy gochujang shrimp. Regardless of what you order, you'll almost certainly be given a traditional Korean barbecue dipping sauce called samjang, and we recommend you use it. Samjang means wrap paste, which does make it sound like something you'd find in a hardware store, albeit a delicious one. Usually sweet and sometimes spicy, samjang is made from soybean paste and is considered an essential part of the Korean barbecue experience. Prior to the main dish, you'll be served traditional side dishes known as banchan. These include well-known items like bibimbap and kimchi, among many others. Americans are prone to mistaking these for appetizers and often wind up gobbling them up before the main meal is served. But banchan are meant to be eaten with the main meal. Don't worry, they won't send the banchan police to arrest you if you screw it up. But the idea is that each one creates a different flavor experience when you try it with the meat. So if your banchan is gone when the main course arrives, you can't truly unlock the full potential of the meal. And is there anything sadder than squandered meat potential? Once you've got all of your ingredients ready to go, it's traditional to make a wrap called a sam. To pull it off, you take a piece of lettuce, put about a bite's worth of meat onto it with some banchan and kimchi, and wrap it up. If you do it right, you should wind up with something about the size of a golf ball. Dip that in the samjang and enjoy. But wait! A pro tip is to not overdo it on the samjang. Since it's dipping sauce, it's easy to use too much and drown out the other tastes. But it should really just be one flavor among many. Okay, sorry, I got a little excited back there. Given that it's called Korean barbecue, you would think this cuisine originally comes from Korea, and you'd be totally right. What, did you think we were tricking you? That hurts. Korean barbecue could be traced back to a type of skewered meat called maekjok, which was eaten by a group of Central Asian nomads called the Maek. The Maek were indigenous Korean people that lived during the Goguryeo era, spanning from about 32 BCE to 668 CE. And when they got the opportunity, the Maek would save precious traveling time by preparing the elements of meals in advance. This entails things like pre-slicing and seasoning their meats, which generally made it easier to quickly cook over a fire while on the move. Prior to the Meg, the idea of pre-seasoning meat was pretty much unheard of in Central Asia. Their techniques, however, spread like wildfire all over the Korean peninsula. Over the years, Mekjo evolved into a marinated beef dish, which then evolved into the thinly sliced nyobiani, which then evolved into the bulgogi that's so popular at Korean restaurants today. Of course, no one is going to eat barbecue without a few side dishes, and the early Koreans were no different. To go with the meat, they quickly developed the aforementioned banchan, which literally means side dishes. But then, a funny thing happened on the way to the future: Buddhism. And with its rise, vegetarianism became all the rage, and there was a renaissance for vegetable-based dishes. Then the Mongol conquest happened, and nobody expects the Mongol conquest. The thing about the Mongols is they were really into meat, and since they were in charge, before you knew it, so was everyone else. Make-style and pre-seasoned meat came back with a vengeance, and together with the banchan, Korean barbecue was born. Flash forward to the Korean War, and the American military introduced many Koreans to modern grilling equipment and other culinary techniques, causing an explosion of new barbecue places. That competition induced restaurant owners to concentrate on providing quantity over quality. And before you know it, they developed the all-you-can-eat style of Korean barbecue that we know and love today. In the 1970s and 80s, the economy of Korea wasn't so hot, and waves of Korean immigrants came to the United States seeking opportunity. Fortunately for the rest of America, they brought their delicious food with them. But unlike the cuisine brought by prior waves of East Asian immigrants, Korean food did not instantly catch on. That's partially because Koreans didn't want it to catch on. Early Chinese restaurants quickly worked to develop standardized, America-friendly menu options, like General Tso's chicken. Early Thai restaurants did the same by creating Americanized variations of traditional dishes like pad thai. But by most accounts, the earliest Korean restaurants were run by Koreans for Koreans, and they weren't terribly concerned with attracting a non-Korean clientele. According to experts, that more insular evolution means that Korean food you get in the US today is generally more authentic to what Koreans really eat than American Chinese food is to what they eat in China. Now you can get Korean barbecue and feel morally superior. How's that for banchan? This style of food is often found in one of America's proliferating Koreatowns. K-Town barbecue places in major cities like New York and Los Angeles helped contribute to the popularity of Korean cuisine by staying open way later than most other restaurants. The diverse population of urban night owls slowly discovered these places, and word began leaking out to every community that Korean barbecue is awesome. Similar K-Towns are to be found in cities like Houston, Atlanta, Fort Lee, Philly, and many others. And they've all helped spread the gospel of Korean barbecue. Los Angeles is primarily known for unpleasant things like traffic jams, smog, and the movie business. But starting in the late aughts, the city finally started becoming known for a thing people actually like: Korean-Mexican Fusion cuisine. Combining elements of traditional Korean and Mexican culinary techniques, the earliest Korean-Mexican fusion was Tex-Mex style dishes like tacos stuffed with Korean barbecue meat and kimchi. Items like Bulgogi burritos and Korean tacos quickly became popular, and with that success, fusion menus started to expand. The initial popularity of the trend is generally credited to the success of the Kogi Korean-Barbecue food truck fleet in Los Angeles. Kogi was co-founded by Angelino Mark Mangera in November of 2008, after he married into a Korean family. Eating with his new relatives inspired him to start infusing Korean food with Mexican cuisine. He pitched the idea to Korean-American chef Roy Choi, who had worked as the head chef in several prominent Los Angeles restaurants. Choi loved the idea of getting to express his Korean culture in his cooking, and he was unemployed at the time. Choi created a menu, and the next thing you know, bam! The whole world is eating at Korean-Mexican fusion trucks. Okay, so it wasn't exactly that fast or that easy. In fact, in the early days, Mangera had to give free samples to bouncers in the LA area in hopes they would spread the word about the trucks to people emptying out of the bars and looking for grub. Kogi also reached out to proto-influencers like food bloggers, urging them to write about the trucks, a strategy that made them popular online. Kogi then went viral by using Twitter to announce where its trucks would be, like an ARG that ends in delicious food. After that, the fleet of trucks steadily expanded. By the middle of 2009, they had opened their first fixed location in a local lounge called the Alibi Room. And in 2016, they opened their first brick-and-mortar restaurant in Los Angeles. The success of Kogi led to an explosion of similar fusion food trucks. Today, they can be found in cities like Chicago, San Francisco, Portland, Austin, and Seattle, among others. Popular East Coast examples include chains like Kimchi Taco and Korean BBQ. But traditional Korean barbecue isn't going anywhere. According to Yelp, the cuisine experienced a 34% growth in demand between 2012 and 2019 alone. At the same time, the abbreviation KBBQ, meaning Korean barbecue, became 4 times as common in reviews of Korean restaurants. And speaking of Yelp, if you're looking to try some Korean barbecue for the first time, they say that the most frequently mentioned dishes are bulgogi, banchan, bibimbap, sundu bijjigae, or tofu soup, kalbi, and galbi, which are beef or pork short ribs, soju, kimchi, seafood pancakes, and rice cakes. So starting with some combination of those popular faves is probably a good place to start. Korean fried chicken, the other KFC, is also increasingly popular these days. It's chicken coated with a thin layer of cornstarch and either soy garlic or sweet and spicy sauce. If you've tried it, you know Colonel Sanders has every right to be worried about the competition. So what do you think? Are you a fan of Korean barbecue? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.